I'd like to call the Tuesday, April 5th, 2022 meeting of the Town of East Long Meadow Planning Board to order. Those in attendance are Mr. Kingston, Mr. Chair Swallow, Mr. Torsia, myself, and we're joined by our new Director of Planning and Community Development, Bailey Mitchell, and Nina Fazio. Before I proceed any further, I'm required by Mass General Law to determine or to ask whether there's anybody in the audience who might be recording this meeting. If so, would you please raise your Zoom hand? You can be brought into the meeting and recognized, and let us know the form in which you are recording the meeting. I'll ask again, if there's anyone in the audience who is recording the meeting, please raise your hand. You can be brought in, be recognized, and let us know in the form in which you are recording the meeting. Okay, hearing none. The first item of business is I would like to introduce everybody to the town's new Director of Planning and Community Development, Bailey Mitchell, who joined us officially yesterday. So it's his only second day on the job. But I would like to ask Bailey just to let the townspeople know a little bit about himself and some of his experience. Bailey.
Thanks, Russ. Yeah, I am Bailey Mitchell. I'm a master's in public administration. Came from Indiana, went to school at Indiana University in Bloomington, Indiana. And I started my career with the city of Ferguson, Missouri, as their community development coordinator. I was there for about 2.5 years, and I just moved out to Hartford, Connecticut, and with my partner who got a promotion out here a few months ago, and then I'm now here with the town of East Long Meadow as the Director of Planning. So
good, welcome. I hope people will have the opportunity to work with you down the road. Great.
Yeah.
So I'm going to skip, if it's okay with the board, I would ask that we have a motion to move and allow us to have the first item of business being case SP 2022-4, request for a special permit for a massage therapist facility at 280 North Main Street. George, you're muted.
So moved, George Kingston.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that one.
Okay, by roll call, because we are through Zoom. Mr. Kingston?
Aye.
Mr. Torsia?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Mr. Chair Swallow?
Aye.
Okay, so Mr. Torsia, would you call that item, please?
Yes. Item number 1, case SP 2022-4, request for special permit for a massage therapist facility at 280 North Main Street, Suite 7, Assessor's Parcel ID 14-12-F, in an existing structure located in the Commercial Zoning District. Applicant, Carolyn Wright, 34 Berlin Street, Springfield, MA.
So is Carolyn available, please?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, do you have video?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, there you are. Welcome.
Hello, thank you.
So tell us a little bit about what your proposal is.
Well, I'm proposing a massage therapy facility to promote wellness and the community. I live in Springfield, so there will be a Springfield residents migrating, but I do hot stone, I do deep tissue. I've been in the business for 10 years. I work at Puffer Salon and Day Spa. I mean,
Right.
I just want to promote wellness to, the community.
And what are your anticipated hours of operation?
Evening, for those people who work all day and can't get, a good time, because most places do close earlier. So I was looking for, more of a evening to help with, accommodating the business clientele.
And do you expect to hire other employees?
No, sir.
Questions from the board? So this is a public hearing, so I need to open this public hearing on this matter. If there's anyone in the audience who would like to be heard on this matter, would you please raise your hand and you can be brought into the meeting? Again, anybody in the audience who wishes to be heard on this matter, would you please raise your hand? You can be brought in.
Yes, I have one person with a hand up.
Okay,
Not sure if it's relative to this, but
Hello.
hello.
Yes.
Are you here for the special permit for the massage therapist?
No.
Okay,
okay. Thank you.
so we're going to take you out of the meeting then, okay? And eventually your matter will come before the board. So hearing no one who wishes to speak on this matter, do I have a motion to close the public hearing? George, you're muted. You're still muted.
So moved. Sorry.
Okay, do I have a second?
A
Second.
second.
Okay, motion made and seconded by roll call. Mr. Kingston,
Aye.
Mr. Torsia,
Aye.
Ms. Saraswello,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. And now on the main matter, do I have a motion to approve the special permit?
So moved, George.
So a second?
A second.
Okay, motion made and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none by roll call. Mr. Torsia,
Aye.
Ms. Saraswello,
Aye.
Mr. Kingston,
Aye.
and I'm a yes as well. Carolyn, you're all set. Welcome to town. Thank you. Take care.
Oh, thank you so much, you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. So I'd like
Yeah,
to
I
go
will.
back to the beginning of the agenda and have the board approve the minutes of March 15th, 2022, January 15th, and so I'm going to start with March 15th, 2022. Hopefully everyone's had an opportunity to review them. Do I have a motion to accept?
So moved, George.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay, motion made and second on approval of the minutes of March 15, 2022. By roll call, Mr. Kingston,
Aye.
Ms. Charasuelo,
Aye.
and I'm a yes as well. I believe Mr. Torsia is abstaining because he was
Yes,
not
I'm
at
an
that.
abstain.
So I'd like to take the next three. These are executive session meeting minutes of January 15th, 2019, September 17th, 2019, and February 18th, 2020. Ms. Saraswello will not be voting on this. She was not a member of the board at that time. Are there any additions, corrections, edits anyone wishes to make to them? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve those three?
I'll make a motion to approve all three of the minutes of the executive session.
Do I have a second?
I'm going to second that.
Okay, motion made in second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, by roll call, Mr. Torsia,
Aye.
Mr. Kingston,
Aye.
and I am aye as well. So those are approved. So now, Mr. Torsia, number one on the agenda, please.
Yes. All right, under site plan review waivers, case SPRW 2022-3, request for a site plan review waiver for Your Best Self Aesthetics at 45 Crane Avenue. Assessor's parcel ID 27-24-A-1 in an existing structure located in the business zoning district. Applicant Rebecca Lombardi, 32 Baldwin Drive, Hamden, MA, continued from March 15th, 2022.
Ms. Lombardi, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So what we'd like to hear from you is a little bit about the business, hours of operation, number of employees you might have, the specific, and just for the people, because we're doing this by video, the specific location that you're going to be at as well. So let's start with that.
Sure. So the location that I would like to be in is within the Health Tracks building in East Longmeadow. So there's a massage studio in the basement, Escape Therapeutic Massage, which I'm going to be renting a room from them to operate my business in. My hours are by appointment. Pretty much, mostly I'm open Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays during the day from approximately 9:30 to 2:30, 3 o'clock maybe. And then Wednesday and Thursday evenings, approximately 5:15 to 9 o'clock. And then weekends, Saturday and Sunday, again, by appointment mostly. I've been an esthetician for 15 years. I relocated to Hamden a little under 2 years ago. And this is my first time being on my own. So I'd like to practice as an esthetician, doing facials, waxing, eyelash tinting and lifting, eyebrow tinting at that location.
Questions from the board?
Will you be doing any permanent makeup?
No.
All right. Any further questions from the board? Hearing none. Do I hear a motion to approve this site plan review waiver?
So moved, George.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none by roll call. Ms. Saraswello,
Aye.
Mr. Torsia,
Aye.
Mr. Kingston,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Best of luck to you, Ms. Lombardi.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Next
Thank
item,
you.
Mr. Clerk.
Yes, item number 2, case SPRW 2022-4, request for a site plan review waiver for Bear Salon, a hair salon at 44 Shaker Road, GIS 46 Shaker Road, Assessor's Parcel ID 27-168-0 in an existing structure located in the Business Zoning District. Applicant Shelley McCluskey, 44 Shaker Road, East Longmeadow, MA.
Hi,
Hello, thank you for joining us.
thank you for having me.
So if you heard the last petitioner, we'd like to know a little something about you, about the business, hours of operation, number of employees you might have, and just give us people a little flavor on the location that you're going to be operating your business at.
Okay, so my name is Shelley and I have been doing hair for about 20 years now. I've worked in East Longmeadow right down the road from where I hope to open up my salon for about 15 of those years. I'm looking to rent at 44 Shaker Road, which is right next to Coffee Time Restaurant.
Yep.
And just to do hair is my plan, and to have 2 other renters there doing hair as well.
Okay, hours of operation?
Hours of operations will vary for each renter because we'll go in on our own time, but mainly Monday through Saturday, opening around 9, closing around 8, depending on who's there that day.
Okay. Were you out there yesterday morning looking into the building?
What, yesterday? I don't know if, maybe I was.
Yeah.
No, not yesterday. A couple days ago I was though.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
all right. Questions from the board?
This is where Cassie's business was, my main squeeze.
No, it's to the left of Coffee Time. There was a barber shop there for about 64 years.
Yeah.
Next.
So it was an existing salon.
Okay. Any other questions for the petitioner? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve this request for a site plan waiver? Review
So
waiver.
moved, George.
The motion, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
I'll, s-
Okay, motion made and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none by roll call. Mr. Torsia,
Aye.
Mr. Kingston,
Aye.
Mr. Chair Swallow,
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Best of luck to you.
Thank you so much.
All right, next item, Mr. Clerk.
Right, item number 3, case SPRW 2022-5, request for a site plan review waiver for Red 5 Toys and Collectibles for a change in location from Unit 57 to Unit 55 at 55 Maple Street. Assessor's parcel ID 27-15-0 in an existing structure located in the Business Zoning District. Applicant Brian Rushby, 751 Mountain Road, Suffield, Connecticut.
Coming.
Okay,
I'm trying. Can you hear me?
we can hear you. We can't see you yet.
Hmm.
Lower left.
Oh, hang on.
Ah, there you go.
Hey,
Hello?
I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for coming. So this essentially is, you're just moving down one space in the, we'll call it the Dunkin' Donuts Plaza. Is it a larger space that you're moving to?
Yes,
Move
it's
to? Yeah,
hard.
well, you're frozen. We can't hear you. So let me do this. Let
Can you
me
hear me
ask Nina. Nina, can you jump on and just explain why the need for them to come down to move one spot and have the planning board approve this? So,
I believe that is just because any new business certificates go through, when Kevin checks off the zoning determination, it goes through a waiver.
yep, okay. So essentially, if you all know this business, we approved this business either last year or the year before. And he's just moving down one location in the same plaza. I believe that you've been pretty successful. I see a lot of cars there, and I wish you continued luck there.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions of the petitioner? Okay, hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the site plan waiver?
So moved, George.
Okay, motion made. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none by roll call. Mr. Kingston,
Aye.
Mr. Torsia,
Aye.
Ms. Saraswello,
Aye.
and I'm a yes as well. Thank you, Mr. Rushby.
Thank you. Have a good
Okay.
night.
Yep. Next item, Mr. Torsia.
All right, item number 4, case SPRW 2022-6, request for a site plan review waiver for the renovation of existing office and warehouse spaces at 1921 Fisher Avenue. Assessor's parcel ID 14A-28-C on a 0.69 plus or minus acre lot in the industrial zoning district. Applicant Andrew Walmsley, Volo Aero MRO 140 Industrial Drive, East Long Meadow, MA.
Well, we have two people who came into the meeting. We have Andrew and we have Danny. Who's going to lead off on your behalf?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Danny. I'm the property owner. I'm the one that's conducting the rehab, and Andrew is the tenant. So I didn't know who exactly should be the applicant. I think we did it right with Andrew being the applicant, but
Yep.
So we're
So
both
tell us
here to
about-
field any questions.
Tell us about the project. Tell us about the business that's going to be in there.
Sure,
Let's start from there.
sure.
Let me
Purchase
cover that
the-
one then, if you want.
Go ahead. You want me to? Yeah, so I purchased the building, I don't know, a few months ago now, 4 months ago. It was a etching manufacturing shop there for I think it was built that way, I don't know, 50, 60 years ago. And I've been working with Andrew, who owns a machine shop in East Long Meadow currently, outgrowing his space, and is, I think, by his landlord being assisted to move into another space. So we've kind of just been remodeling the building to modernize it, new roof, cleaning up outside. It was a bit neglected for some years, but we're converting some warehouse space into some office space, and we're converting some office space into some warehouse space. We're probably net adding 500 to 1,000 square feet of office space.
So
And
was Andrew's business on Westwood?
No,
Where was it located?
we are currently located on Industrial Drive
Okay,
in the Tarbell, LM Tarbell's building.
okay. All right. Okay. Questions from the board? George?
I can't hear.
Yeah, are you relocating or is this an additional location for you? Additional site?
It's a relocation. So we're currently in about 5,000 square feet and the building is approximately 16,000 square feet.
Thank
Will
you.
will you be adding employees as a result?
Hopefully, that is the goal, yes.
Good. Okay. Any other questions from the board?
Do we know how much parking is there and whether it meets the parking criteria?
So we don't need any, I believe Nina, if you can assist.
Nina, you
I
want to
don't-
jump in?
I don't believe we needed any variances. We met the requirements.
I don't believe for a waiver that was needed for existing buildings
Okay,
as part of this submit.
all right. Any other questions from the board members? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve this site plan waiver?
So moved, George.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none by roll call. Mr. Kingston,
Aye.
Mr. Saraswello,
Aye.
Mr. Torsia,
Aye.
and I'm a yes as well. Thank you for continuing to locate your business in East Long Meadow. This item's approved. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Item number 5, case SPRW 2022-7, request for a site plan review waiver for a business name change from Nia Takeout Incorporated DBA Jack Chen to Joy Takeout Incorporated DBA Jack Chen at 59 Maple Street, GIS 55 Maple Street, Assessor's Parcel ID 27-15-0, in an existing structure located in the Business Zoning District. Applicant Saiwin Hay, 18 Brook Street, East Long Meadow, MA.
So I'm going to ask Nina just to jump in for a minute. So Nina, this is just strictly a name change of the business. Is that correct?
Just a business name change, but again, a new business certificate.
Anyone from the petitioner in the audience?
Nina, you got any idea? I don't see the name that you sent me.
I don't see it as well, the petitioner's name.
What's the board's pleasure, given that this is just a name change?
I would suggest we vote on it.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none by roll call. Mr. Torsia,
Aye.
Ms. Saraswello,
Aye.
Mr. Kingston,
Aye.
and I'm a yes as well. So that item passes. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
All right, item number 6, case SPRW 2022-8, request for a site plan review waiver for Lily Bean Sweets, a home bakery at 151 Smith Avenue, Assessor's Parcel ID 3B-64-123, located in the Residence C zoning district. Applicant Kyra Cuban, 151 Smith Ave, East Long Meadow, MA.
Hello.
Hi, it's
Hi.
Kira.
Yes.
Sorry
Okay.
about that.
That's okay.
Thank you for joining us, and thank you for taking advantage of this new item in our zoning ordinance. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
I actually just moved here. Well, it's been 2 years, right at the start of the pandemic.
okay,
So I ran a cake. I decorate cakes, cupcakes, and cookies. Here now, though, I'm really going to do cupcakes and cookies.
Okay.
I work full time, so it'll be a side thing for me.
mhm,
But I did it in Virginia for 15 years out of my home. So I was just hoping I would be able to take advantage of that and do it up here. And I've already been inspected by the health department and got all that stuff taken care of.
okay. Questions for the petitioner? Okay, hearing none. Do I have a motion to approve the site plan waiver request?
I'll make a motion if nobody else will.
Okay, motion made. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. By roll call vote, Mr. Torsia,
Aye.
Ms. Saraswello,
Aye.
Mr. Kingston,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. So this matter passes. Best of luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, take care. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Yes, item number 7, case SPRW 2022-9, request for a site plan review waiver for East Car Sales, a home office at 389 Elm Street. Assessor's parcel ID 34-28-0, located in the Residence A zoning district. Applicant Wilfredo Gonzalez, 389 Elm Street, East Long Meadow, MA.
I don't see him either, Nina.
Neither do I.
Mr. Gonzalez, are you in the meeting under another name? If you are, please raise your hand so you can be brought into the meeting. Okay, so I would prefer that we not vote on this one. Because obviously, you know, car sales in a residential zone, I have a lot of questions. So do I have a motion from a board member to continue this to our next meeting?
I'll make a motion to table it. It's not a hearing, so we don't need to continue it.
Okay, yeah, okay, yep, thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any discussion regarding tabling this item? Hearing none by roll call, Mr. Kingston,
Aye.
Ms. Saraswello,
Aye.
Mr. Torsia,
Aye.
and I'm a aye as well. Okay, next item, Mr. Clerk.
Yes, case SPR number 8, case SPRW 2022-11, request for a site plan review waiver for a business name change to American Hair and Nails at 613 North Main Street, GIS 611 North Main Street, Assessor's parcel ID 1A-56-94 in an existing structure located in the business zoning district. Applicant 2 Farm 294 Anthony Way, Long Meadow, MA.
So Nina, again, this is strictly a name change.
Correct.
Is the petitioner here in the meeting?
Yes.
Please raise your- Hey, there you are. You're back.
Yeah. How are you?
Good, thanks for sticking around. So, so this is simply a name change of the business. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Does anybody have any questions for the petitioner?
So this was Van's Hair and Nails?
Yes.
Okay.
So just for the people who might be in the audience, give us the address and kind of a landmark. People will know exactly where it is.
The address is 613 North Main Street. It's East Long Meadow.
Okay. But kind of where in town is it? Give us a landmark.
Oh, why? What do you mean land town? It's from Dan, right? Daniel, right?
Nina, you want to help us landmark? 613 North Main.
It's next to,
Oh, go ahead. I don't know it off the top of my head.
it's next to the lumber yard.
Yeah.
Okay, this has been there forever. The other half is the
Quimby?
smoke shop.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, all righty. Any questions of the petitioner? So I have a motion to approve the site plan waiver requests.
Jump in, John, come on.
I'll second it, yeah.
Oh,
No, you
but
make the
you
motion.
need to make the motion.
I'm
You're
sorry.
wearing George out here, come on.
Yes, no, I will make a motion to approve the site plan review.
All
The
right,
site
do I have a
plan waiver,
second?
sorry.
I'll second that.
All right, motion made in second. Any further discussion from anybody? Roll call, Mr. Kingston,
Aye.
Mr. Torsia,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Thank you. Appreciate you
you very
sticking
much.
around. Take care.
Yes, thank
Okay, Mr. Torsia, next
Yes,
item.
we've got our second public hearing of the evening, case SP 2022-5, request for a special permit for the installation of a wireless communications monopole and related equipment at 16 Meadowbrook Road, Assessor's Parcel ID 78-1-0 on a 12 plus or minus acre site located in the Residence A zoning district. Applicant Selco Partnerships, DBA Verizon Wireless, 20 Alexander Drive, Wallingford, Connecticut.
So I'm going to try to give this some context before we proceed into this. So there was an original petition by Verizon Wireless. There were a number of public hearings. Initially, the board voted 2 in favor, 3 against. Verizon Wireless petitioned the board to reconsider, really with the understanding that the town would then retain an independent consultant to review the findings of Verizon Wireless and determine whether the proposed location would be in the best interest of the town. The board subsequently voted 4 in favor, 1 opposed to allow the reconsideration. Since that time, with the help of Nina Fazio from the Office of Planning and Community Development, we vetted out, I believe, 4 or 5 different consultants. The board chose an independent consultant at its last board meeting. So we have not actually retained the individual until after we held or opened at least a public hearing on the new submittal by Verizon Wireless, which is being done this evening. So we will hear from indeed Verizon Wireless, and we will then open a public hearing. But for those who might be in the audience, be aware that we will continue the public hearing. We will then sign the final papers if we've not already done so with our consultant, who then will perform the scope of services, which has been approved by the town, by the town's attorney. We then will have the individual appear back in front of the planning board to review their findings based upon what is required in the town's zoning bylaws. So we would then continued public hearing. We would hear from them. This does not restrict anybody's ability to comment during the public hearing that will be open this evening, nor would it impact anyone's ability to speak at future public hearings on this matter. So with that, I'll turn it over to Attorney Fenton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Michael Fenton. I'm a shareholder at Schatz, Schwartz & Fenton in Springfield. Our address is 1441 Main Street, Springfield, Suite 1100. We're here in our capacity as counsel to Selco Partnership, doing business as Verizon Wireless. This is our proposal for 16 Meadowbrook Road, 125-foot monopole We did secure both dimensional and use variances from the Zoning Board of Appeals and made concessions to the town as a result of that process, including several moves of the tower to eliminate some of the setback violations which were previously anticipated for abutters that weren't under common familial ownership with our landlord. And ultimately, we resolved the matter by securing a use variance to be in this residential district in this area of town, which for many miles is otherwise prohibited for wireless service under the bylaw, and also a dimensional variance for a side yard setback, but that side yard is under common familial ownership with our landlord. And so we're here tonight after resubmitting our special permit and your denial of our initial application without prejudice, allowing us to be here. That application was resubmitted to you on or about March 10th, and we're ready to engage with the consultant that we understand the town is prepared to engage. And we've also provided you with our written commitment to financially cover the expenses for that consultant up to $5,000. And if for some reason, which we don't anticipate, the cost did go above that, we would just ask that Verizon be consulted. So look forward to working with the consultant and providing whatever information he or she may require. If there's any site visits, we'd like to participate in that. And at the appropriate time, Mr. Chair would like to speak with the board about timing logistics for making a full presentation back to this group after we've had the opportunity to review the consultant's report.
Well, fortunately, we have a new planning director of planning and community development who will be shepherding this project along and this review along on behalf of the planning board. So we're happy to have him on, and the timing is quite good on this matter. So Mr. Fenton, do you wish to add anything else before I ask the board if there's any questions?
Just before we conclude, I would like an opportunity just to talk about dates and expected hearing dates at the appropriate time.
Yeah, okay. Before I open this matter up to the public hearing, do any members of the board have any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I suggest you open the public hearing at this point.
Okay.
So that any comments from the board are part of the record of the hearing.
Okay, so I will open this matter to the public.
No, you open the public hearing, go to the board, and then open to the public. Excuse me.
Open the public hearing.
Yeah.
And now I ask if there's anyone in the audience who might have any comments for this item.
I don't see anybody, Russ.
And I don't see anyone with their hand raised on this item. Mr. Kingston, do you have any questions or concerns?
Well, as I did at the last hearing for this group, just disclosing that I am a client of Schatz, Schwartz, and Fenton. It does not have any impact on my ability to hear this, and that's all I really have at this point.
Okay. Mr. Torsha, do you have any questions?
Just more of a general.
You don't, John?
Just more of a general comment. I know I had missed the last meeting, but I felt very comfortable with who we decided on, and I feel very comfortable with where we're at in the process going with this. So I'm definitely confident and looking forward to hearing what they have to say.
So to the best of my knowledge, and I am chair, so I should know this, we meet again in 2 weeks. I highly doubt that the consultant's work will be done by then. We are yet undecided on whether we are meeting the first Tuesday in May. We then would meet the third Tuesday in May. It would be my goal and my instructions to our new planning director to have the individual brought on board, all the paperwork signed, and all of the findings done by that time, so that we could continue the hearing date to the third Tuesday in May, which I don't know what that day is. But that would be the goal of my goal for this board. So we don't have anybody who's raised their hand to be heard in the public hearing. I believe the appropriate thing then to do is to seek a motion to continue the public hearing to the third Tuesday in May, which is, Nina, do you happen to have a calendar in front of you?
17th.
The 17th of May. Mr. Fenton, your hand is raised.
Yes, Mr. Chair, just before you do that, that date is fine with us. We would just ask that, to the extent feasible, the town ask the consultant to produce its report by the 3rd. That gives almost a month to produce the report, and that would allow us 2 weeks to draft some level of response so that the board could see if there was any issues that Verizon needed to respond to in advance. That would be our request.
So thank you. We will make that request. I don't know whether we'll be successful or not, but certainly we will, ask them to be able to do that. The other things for the individuals who might be in the audience and have, are here specifically for this issue, it would be my advice that you check in with the Office of Planning and Community Development on or about that date, so that if the report is received, then Nina or Bailey would be able to forward you that material as well, so that, for full transparency, we want everyone to be able to see what was produced by the consultant. And at the same time, obviously, you're going to want to refer those out to the board members as well. But we want to make sure that you are fully informed of everything that's produced by that consultant, specifically with this matter. So,
thank you.
Okay. So I'm not hearing or not seeing anyone who wishes to. Oh, I see Mr. Bernie. Your hand is up. So can we bring Mr. Bernie in to the meeting?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, hi. I just have a quick question. What is the scope of the consultant's work?
Specifically, there are requirements within the zoning bylaws on what their duties are going to be. So it will be to determine whether the work product produced by Verizon is accurate and appropriate, and whether this is the best one of the best locations for the town to have this pole. So is it the best interest of the town that be located there? And it is also the work product developed by Verizon appropriate and accurate?
Okay, so they will be reviewing alternative sites?
In a sense, yeah.
Okay, fine.
Okay. I don't see another hand up. So do I have a motion to continue the public hearing?
I'll make a motion to continue the public hearing to 6 o'clock on 17 May.
I'll second that.
Okay. So there's a motion made and seconded to continue the public hearing until May 17th, 2022 at 6 p.m. Any further discussion? Hearing none. By roll call, Mr. Kingston.
Aye.
Mr. Torsia.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Okay, thank you. We'll reconvene on May 17th for this matter. Thank you. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Yes. Item continued business. Item number under item number 1, request for consideration of final release of performance bond for Jeffrey Lane Extension subdivision. Applicant Southern Any Real Estate Development, Inc., 45 Knollwood Drive, East Long Meadow, MA. This has been continued from January the 4th, 2022 and January the 18th, 2022.
So I think this morning we all received a email from the Department of Public Works saying that the work had been done to their satisfaction. So.
I'll make a
Mr.
motion to release the bond.
Do I have a second? John?
Second, sorry.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Mr. Levine, do you wish to be heard? Okay, so by roll call, Mr. Kingston,
Aye.
Mr. Torsia,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. So that matter passes. Next item.
Next item is under other business, item number 1, request for consideration of final release of performance bond and recommendation of street acceptance for Pondview Drive subdivision. Applicant RJ Chapdelaine, 87 Shaker Road, East Long Meadow, MA.
Mr. Bosworth, your item has already passed the board.
Yeah, yep, he's all
Okay.
set.
Okay, the petitioner. Hello?
You're muted, Roger. Still.
All right, there it is. Thank you.
So we've also received an email from Department of Public Works indicating that this project had been completed satisfactory as well.
Thank you.
Any questions from the board?
No.
Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve this item?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Do I have a second? Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none by roll call, Mr. Kingston,
Aye.
Mr. Torsia,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. All set?
Thank you very much. Good
Take care.
evening.
Yep. Next item.
All right, item number 2, update of work done in accordance with site plan approval for Elmcrest Country Club, 105 Summersville Road, Assessor's Parcel ID 69-12-0, Petitioner Dave Fleury, Meadow Holdings LLC, PO Box 451, East Long Meadow, MA.
So we have something that says Elmcrest and you're muted and we can't see you. Again, so we see it says Elmcrest on the screen and you're muted and we cannot see you on the screen. Hello?
Okay, sorry. I don't think I'm supposed to be on the agenda as of yet, am I?
Regarding Elmcrest, yes.
Oh, is this time?
Pardon me?
Am I on is this the time to be on? I apologize.
For Elmcrest, yes. Yep.
Okay, so we're just coming back before the planning board to review where we were last when we were there, to give an update as to what is happening with Elmcrest.
You skipped a couple of years, though.
We did skip a couple of years, yes. Well, we've been in the process of, unfortunately, a litigation with the insurance company. And during that time, we have been able to kind of move forward, not knowing where we're standing with the insurance proceeds and claim from that policy. So, at this point in time, we are in negotiations with the insurance company. And, we're hoping that this will be resolved this year. As a matter of fact, we've been going back and forth just recently. And I'd like to get our attorney, if you'd like to hear from him on the call as well.
I would
so
like
he
that.
Okay, can you hold on 1 second?
Sure.
Okay, give him 1 second.
Sure.
And we'll bring him on.
Over the phone.
I think we were both thinking it was much later. We probably thought it was 7:30. So just give him a minute here, please.
We're efficient.
Yes, you are very efficient. You had quite a lot on your agenda this evening, so. So until he hops on, which I'm just waiting for him to respond here. At this point in time, I would just ask that we are able to continue with the temporary operations as we have them set up and that we've been currently utilizing until we can get to a point of a settlement with the insurance company. And then we can come back before the board at that point in time to let the town know what we intend to do to proceed. That's basically where I believe we are at this point in time. But again, I'll let him speak to any questions you may have relating to what we've been doing during this time frame, his involvement, and maybe even his anticipated time frame of what it may take to resolve the issue.
Okay. And this is Attorney Paul Weinberg from Northampton?
Correct.
I would like to hear from him because it appears that this has been a very lengthy process.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure it has not been comfortable for you as well, but I think people are anxious to see work, permanent work being done there.
Of course, you probably know more than me. All right, he's
Well, let's try this. So
what I would like to do is I'm going to try to pause you if possible. I'm going to call him because what I'm doing right this second is texting him and I'm not getting a response. So is that possible?
Yeah, John, what's the next item on our agenda?
I think it's the last one, isn't it?
John, you're muted.
Sorry. An item on electric vehicle charging stations and then the director's report and then.
All right, so Mr. Fleury, we're just going to begin a discussion on electric charging stations. It will not be lengthy. That'll give you a chance. That'll give you a chance to get a hold of Mr. Weinberg. Okay.
Okay, I'll be. Yep. Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. So I believe this is Mr. Kingston asked that this item be put on the agenda. So I'll allow him to introduce it. George.
Okay, I asked to send you both a best practices document and a bylaw that was done in another town in Massachusetts. As far as I can see, there are a number of issues with zoning for electric charging stations. Obviously, they're going to be coming in, and there's going to be more and more of them as we go forward. One of the issues is the parking formula, because if you're charging for 3 hours, that parking space is not available. So how does that impact something like the Center Square in East Long Meadow, where we're tight on parking already? And if you put in stations there, what does that do to the required parking? Another issue is for new developments, do we require as part of site plan that people put in the infrastructure for charging stations when they put the initial plans in, even if they're not putting stations in yet? Because these require different electrical installations. They take higher voltages, and you don't want to tear up parking lots to put in stations after the fact. So that's another issue. A third one, which particularly bothers me, is do we allow commercial charging stations in residential areas? Okay, I mean, in business and commercial and industrial, it makes sense, but do we want them in residential areas? And that's just not just for residences, but we have pre-existing non-conforming businesses for this would be a new use. And we need to think about whether we want to allow that as a new use in those businesses. I'm not saying we have to do anything about it tonight, but I am willing to answer any questions, and I would like the board to agree to ask our new director to look into this and see if he can gin up a draft zoning bylaw that we can then work on, maybe working from the one that Mephiston has, just to see, how we could adapt something like that to the town before it hits us with lots of stations coming in, and we're not prepared for it.
I agree 100%. I think it's very timely that we begin the process. So Bailey, there you go. John, do you want to add anything?
No, I think it's extremely relevant. How deep? I'm kind of curious now. How detailed would, if you wanted to put in kind of a rule to set up the kind of the foundation for a charging station? Is that a lot of complex stuff that would have to be put in? Would it be, I'm guessing, mainly underground? With these new businesses would have to put into their parking lots if they decided to at least lay the groundwork, even if they didn't do electric charging stations right then and there.
Yeah, there are basically 3 levels: level 1, level 2, and level 3. Level 1 and 2 are what you'd have in your garage, charging overnight. Level 3 would allow you to charge in 2 to 3 hours, and that's what you'd want. Let's say you were a restaurant, okay, and you wanted to provide that for your patrons so they would stay inside and eat for 2 hours, that sort of thing. So that's where you would need to have the higher powered charging electricals, special wiring, and that sort of thing. And that's what you want to have when you put the new parking lot in, so that when you put the station in 5 years from now, you don't have to dig it all up. And there's a lot of different other things that are brought up in the best practices document that you may want to look through. And Bailey, if you haven't seen that, I'm sure Nina can give you a copy of it.
Great. Okay. Thank you, George.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing it to our attention. Great. So Mr. Mackey, I see Paul Weinberg. Can you please bring him into the meeting?
Yes, sir. He's on his way.
Hi, hi, Russ. I don't know if you can hear me.
We can hear you. Yes, we can.
All right. Well, as Russ knows, I'm a trial lawyer. I've been practicing for 45 years, and I've never once appeared before a planning board. So thank you for the opportunity.
Well, Paul, I think specifically the board is interested in the timing on a settlement of this matter, it has been going on for quite some time. There's been temporary structures there allowing them to continue to operate. I know there's a great deal of interest on behalf of town and the residents to know when a more permanent solution, more permanent structures are going to actually be completed there. And I know it rests upon either settlement or going to court, one way or the other, but some type of settlement with respect to the insurance matter. So can you give us some direction on what you believe the timing on the settlement of all of this will be?
Yes, just, I don't know how much background Dave has given you, but the fires happened in 2017. The club was unrepresented. Philadelphia Insurance was involved, and they hired some code consultants and got into some very strange exercises about what the code would require. And your building commissioner was pretty clear about what he would require, but they kept sort of moving the goalposts, the insurance company did. And finally, the insurance agent notified Mr. Fleury that there was a 2-year statute of limitations coming up. So he asked for an extension because nothing had been done because they hadn't come to a final number. And the insurance adjusters told him that shouldn't be a problem. But in actuality, they were laying in the weeds. They waited until the 2-year statute had run, and they continued to adjust the loss. And then 2 months later, they told the club to go pound sand. They weren't going to pay another nickel. And that's when I was hired. And I filed some motions, and we got access to their files, which were very embarrassing to them. So they very much want to settle this case. There's a couple of $1 million deltas between insurance policy breaks up into 2 buckets. One is what it would cost to replace the building as was without any regard to code, and then any increased costs due to enforcement of code. And this building, as you know better than I, was built in the 60s. So there were a lot of code improvements that are necessary. And so the problem with Mr. Fleury hired a local architect and a very prominent builder, D.A. Sullivan. And being contractors, they prepare estimates the way contractors prepare it, but insurance companies use a different language. They use a special insurance proprietary software system with proprietary numbers that you don't know what the sources are. So they came up with some pretty lowball numbers, and we couldn't get anywhere until I finally hired another outside insurance adjuster who spoke their language, and he finally put together an estimate that you can do an apples to apples comparison. And we just sent it today to them. They very much want to compromise this claim. It's in federal court. And if not for the pandemic, we would have been done because the federal court has a rocket docket. And I'm amazed that now that the courts are open, that they haven't come after us, because we've been on file since 2019, and that's unheard of for the federal court. But I've learned not to poke the bear. I'm not going to go tap the court on the shoulder and ask when they want to see us, because we might not like the answer. But if I had to handicap, I would say there's an 80% likelihood that this is either going to go to mediation or arbitration before the summer is over. They very much want this off their books. They have to carry pretty large reserves. The question is going to be, how do we resolve the delta? The challenge is, in order to get the so-called code bucket, you actually have to do the work according to what you've prescribed. So the insurance company has asked if we would accept a lump sum. They haven't offered the lump sum yet, but their goal is to shortstop the whole process, give us a lump sum money that we can agree to, or they can be awarded by arbitrators, and then they'll leave us to build whatever is allowed and whatever Mr. Fleury can afford based on the settlement.
So is there a provision, or would you foresee a provision in arbitration or from the insurance company that he would get a higher amount if indeed he did build or rebuild?
Well, that's in the policy, yes. That would be, but what they're hoping for is to avoid all that. They've specifically asked if we would be interested in a lump sum settlement, and the answer is yes. So I suspect that's where it'll go. But yes, if we went to arbitration, we would get an award for direct damage and a separate award for code. But in order to collect that, they'd actually have to do all that code work to the very specifications that our experts laid out, or whatever the arbitrators accepted. I don't expect it's going to go that route. They really want this over. So it requires
So I guess I'll address this question to Mr. Flory. So as you might imagine, there's a great deal of interest in whether, you are awarded, insurance proceeds, and then what do you then do from that point forward? So
if I could just interrupt, Russ.
Yep.
This being a public forum, I really would not like Mr. Flory to divulge our settlement posture on this. I mean, I just don't want that out on the record, because they have gone into town records before.
Okay.
I can tell you that we will rebuild, but it'll be controlled by what the amount of the lump sum settlement is.
Okay. I was just very happy with that answer that you just gave. It's perfect. Okay. Questions from the board? So hearing none. So I guess, Mr. Flory, you're just interested in knowing whether we just want to continue the current special permit that's in place. And I think what we probably, I would suggest, and please, George, jump in if you think I'm incorrect, but that we just continue as is with the provision that we revisit this, let's say February of 2023.
Yeah.
And that now that we have a planning director in place, I know they will mark the calendar on that, so that we can have you come back in to see exactly what progress has been made on this.
I would suggest, Mr. Chairman, that we ask the applicant to request that in writing, and then we can vote on it, rather than just nod our heads, that we have an actual request for extension that we can act on.
Okay. Mr. Flory, did you understand that?
He's muted. You're muted, Dave.
Yeah, I understand that. That's fine. So what's our date then?
February 2023.
February 2023. Okay.
Okay, that's fine. We'll request that in writing to the planning board.
Okay. All right. Any other questions from members of the board? Hearing none. Thank you. Mr. Weinberg, a pleasure to see you.
Thank you for the opportunity. I could not check that off my resume. There's one experience I'm still wanting to have. I had a fight a while ago. I'm not going to ever have it, I think, with the two combatants were both Orthodox Jews, and they're required, if they have a dispute, to go to the rabbinical court in Brooklyn. And I offered to shave my fee down to 33% if I could have that experience. I really wanted to see what that looked like, but they decided they wanted to go to straight up arbitration instead. So this is almost as good. It's almost as
we
good.
don't give discounts for the planning board.
Exactly. All right.
Thank you. Thank you for the update. Greatly appreciate it. All right. Next item, Mr. Clerk. Thank you.
Just director's report.
So Bailey, you've been here 2 days. Any observations in your director's report?
I'll let Nina take this one.
Okay. Nina, what's coming up in 2 weeks?
It's a pretty short agenda. No new public hearings. So far we have the continuation of Happy Acres definitive subdivision. We have something for a special permit violations that Kevin issued for a home-based trade special permit.
Yep.
There's also a discussion between the board pertaining to those out-of-town subdivisions that Mary asked the planning board to provide the first opinion on.
Yep. Okay. And so we were originally not scheduled to meet the first Tuesday in May because that is when there's normally a preliminary town election. But Nina tells me that there does not appear that there will be a preliminary town election. So I told Nina that as of right now, I would prefer not to schedule anything on that date if necessary. I will be out of town on business and will not have access to a Zoom. So I can let you know that, but that's where we stand moving forward with our schedule. So everybody okay with that?
Yep.
Okay. All right. All right. Hearing no further business, I'll have a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved, George.
Do I have a
I'll
second?
second that.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Everybody have a good night.
Good night,
You
everyone.
too.